Good morning. Welcome to Raw Vinyasa on a Tuesday morning. We'll start with some essential oils, as per usual. So this morning's blend is our kind of get up and go blend. Peppermint with all the citrus, lemon, grapefruit, lime, wild orange, bergamot, and a little bit of red mandarin. Once you've got your nice comfortable seat, settle yourself in, palms up, the oils, palms down. If you prefer to just work with the breath as it is. And start with a full deep inhale through the nose, fill everything up. Side out the mouth, clear it all out. And creating space for that inhale and exhale to move in and out through the nose. And settling into your seat, and settling into your practice. Those oils nicely blended in the hands. In a moment, bring the aroma into the space around you. And then palms up in front of the nose. Nice inhale through the nose. Just take another sigh out the mouth. And then in through the nose. And drop down, hold the breath in, draw the belly in and up, and release out the nose. Again, in through the nose. Draw the belly in, and out through the nose. One more like that, in through the nose. And so as you draw the belly in, start to think about bringing that restriction to the back of the throat. So as you exhale, create that more audible sound, your ujjayi breath. And we'll switch to our breath play. 3 taps. And then in through the mouth. Find that seal in. Draw the chin to the chest, pull the belly in and up. Draw the pelvic floor in and up. And then release as you exhale out the nose. Again, full and deep in through the mouth. And release out through the nose. And then one final breath like that. And holding for maybe that little bit longer. Pulling the belly in, drawing the chin down. And then as you release, taking your excess oil to your favourite spot. And then we'll take it over onto our backs. And set yourself up, just draw the knees in towards the chest. Find a little bit of gentle rocking side to side. And then take a knee in each hand, some circles, rolling those thigh bones round in the hip socket. And then back in the opposite direction. And then slide the hands up to the feet, happy baby. And focus on that full deep breath here in your happy baby. And find any movement that works for you.
just checking in with the hamstrings. Maybe it's one leg at a time or maybe both together. Just see where the hamstrings are at. First thing in the morning. And taking a mental note of that as we bring some focus to the hamstrings today. Extend both legs up to the ceiling as you're ready when you feel even. And then place the palms down the side. The hips, you might like to slide the hands in and underneath for a little bit of support, create a little bit of extra pelvic tilt. And then really press out through the heels, find length through those legs and draw the feet in as close as you can get them actively. And then with that activation, nice full inhale breath. And then on the exhale, just lower the right leg down towards the mat. Keep as much activation as you can, pressing out through both heels. And come to that point where you can keep the lower back pressing down and hovering that right foot as low as possible. Inhale, reach it up towards the ceiling. Pull it in as close as you can actively. Keep pressing the heels away and up. Exhale, left leg lowers. Active at the bottom, and then inhale to the top. One more to each side like this. Exhale, lower the right leg down. Keep pressing up through both heels like you're trying to draw the legs apart at the same time. Inhale up through center. Exhale, left leg lowers. And then inhale up through center. Find that nice activation once again, pressing out through both heels. Draw that lower belly in, press the lower back into the mat. And if you can keep the lower back down from this position, lift head and shoulders, extend the arms forward. And go through that same motion, but with more of a switch change effect. So really pressing out through the heels, big full inhale breath. And then as you exhale, lower the right leg down. And then we inhale, switch change. Exhale, switch change. And then keep going with your breath. If you notice any tension building in the neck, feel free to switch the hands to supporting the back of the head. Particularly when it's early, a tendency to grip through the neck. And increasing the pace to whatever works for you. For another 3. Another 2. And the final 1. Legs reach up. Bring the hands back to the side. You keep them hovering. Rest the head down for a moment. Shoulders down. And then we'll inhale, lift head and shoulders up and slowly lower your legs to your Ardha Navasana. So that might be here this morning, might be here, or it might be all the way down. Find that point where you can keep the lower back pressing into the mat. Nice and active. Feel it come into the core. Again, support with the hands if you need to. For another 3. Another 2. Another 1. Draw the knees into the chest. Nice little release and rock side to side once again. And then before we rock up, we'll rinse it out through a twist. Extend the left leg long. Draw the right knee across the body. Twisting it over. Maybe a gaze over the right shoulder. And bring it back through center. Switch sides. Left knee in. Twisting over to the right. Back through center. Hands slide underneath the knees. Find your rocks. 3 or 4. And then crossing the shins or sweeping up to the side. Find our tabletop position. And excuse me, hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Cat cow. Drop the belly. Find your nice arch. And then tuck the toes. A little bit of movement in your cow pose. Just coming forward and back. And then bring it forward, press and round, dome through the upper back. On your cat pose with the shoulders a little bit further forward past the wrists. And then press back, find some rocking in your cat pose. Really pressing down through index and thumb to keep that inner border of the hands active. And then back to neutral, regular cat-cow, rinsing it out. And then back to neutral, switch the hands, fingertips face back towards you. And then a little lean back, bend through the elbows if you need to, warming and opening into the wrists. Maybe lift the heels of the hands off the mat just to create a little bit more stretch. And then bringing the hands to face the outside of the mat. A little bit of a rock side to side. And then even wider, bringing the chest all the way down. Creating space across the chest, maybe a gentle, subtle twist. And then slide it back to your neutral tabletop, hands plant towards the top of the mat. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog as you lift those hips high. Walk your feet in so the hips distance apart. And then you start to pedal out those feet, checking with the hands to make sure you're pressing down through base of index, base of thumb. Taking any kind of movement you need, and then settling your way into stillness. Beautiful, and from your stillness feel that wrapping action, like you're drawing the elbows towards each other, but at the same time, about the eye of the elbow starting to rotate towards the front of the room. That wrapping and then press down through index and thumbnail knuckle. Nice, then inhale right up high on the toes. Stay in your down dog. Just lift the sit bones as high as you can. Keep pressing the chest back. And then exhale, heels back down to the mat. Go through that again. Inhale, rise up onto the toes. Exhale, heels come down to the mat. Nice, once again, inhale, rise high. Exhale, lower down. And then shorten your stance a tiny bit, like half a foot distance. Beautiful, and then we'll play with this action of really activating the leg and pulling the leg into the socket. So really press down through the left foot and then hover the right foot off the mat. Try and keep it low, but feel like you're pulling the leg back into the socket. So the front of the thigh fires up, the hamstring fires up. And then from that nice active position, inhale, sweep the leg up and back. Keep the leg square. But try not to open out the hip like you would move towards scorpion dog, but keep those hips nice and square. Active leg, keep pressing out through the heel. And then rise high on the left toe. Try and swing this right foot as far forward as feels comfortable so that you come to shoulders over wrist position. And then inhale, reach up and back. Do 2 more of those. Nice straight leg as you swing it through. So rising high on the toes, sweep the leg forward, keep it straight. Imagine one day you can tap the wrist. And then inhale, sweep it up. 1 more. Exhale, bring it through, press and dome through the upper back, skinny the toes to the wrist. And then inhale up and back. Place that foot back down. Take a moment, bend the knees, release it out. And then come back to that position, slightly shortened down dog. Really press down through the right foot. Hover that left foot just off the mat. Feel like you're pulling the leg into the socket, nice and active. And then inhale, reach that leg high, keep the hips square. Rise high on the toes. And then exhale, swing this leg through, keep the leg as straight as you can. Imagine toes are going to tap the wrists. And then inhale, sweep it up and back. 2 more of those. Use the exhale, rise high on the toes. Press a dome through the upper back as you swing it in. Use the inhale to swing it back and up. Last one, exhale, coming through. Press. Inhale, reach it up. And then place the foot back down, little bend to the knees, release it out. Gaze to the top of the mat, and with that same feeling of pulling the leg into the socket, mindfully step forward about 1 foot distance at a time, all the way to the top of the mat, keeping the legs as straight as you can. And then finding your forward fold, bend in the knees as you need to. Take opposite elbows and release. Use that exhale breath to soften. One big full inhale through the nose. Side out the mouth. Release the hands. Draw the lower belly in, start to feel all the way up to stand. Reach nice and tall. And then hands come down through heart center. Beautiful sun salutations. Bring the toes together to touch. Inhale, reach the arms tall. Use a little bend to the knees as you need to keep the back flat as you fold. Hands find the shins halfway lift. Extend through the crown of the head. Keep the gaze down so the neck is long. Drift a little further forward so you feel it in the hamstrings. And then bend the knees, plant the hands, step back, high plank position. Press the mat away, dome through the upper back. Drift those shoulders forward past the wrists. Support with the knees if you wish, otherwise elbows in, forward and down, chaturanga. And then to the mat. Untuck the toes. Inhale, lift up, baby cobra. Hands hover, elbows in, shoulders back. Notice what the legs are doing. See if you can activate more through the backs of the legs, pointing through the toes, and maybe float the feet. Press the feet back down, plant the hands under the shoulders or even further back. Inhale, cobra pose. Broaden across the chest, open out, chest through the arms. Press into the knees, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Step the feet together to touch. Take a bend to the knees and gaze forward. Look up between the hands. And then if you prefer to step or walk, feel free. Otherwise, deep bend to the knees, gazing forward. Take that hop and land at the top of the mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bring it up, reach it tall, draw that lower belly in, lift the gaze. Exhale, hands through heart center. Round again, inhale, reach. Little bend to the knees, exhale, fold. Hands to the shins, half lift, flat back. Gaze down, long neck. Straight arms, straight legs. And then bend the knees, plant the hands, take it through your version of Vinyasa. Nice, full breath. Feet come together to touch. And then same again, a little bend to the knees as you gaze forward. Like you're pulling the legs into the sockets. Hop to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale, bring it up. Reach it all. Little press forward at the hips. Exhale, hands through heart center. One more, inhale, reach. Use those knees, exhale, fold. Hands find shins, maybe even the floor, flat back, straight arms, straight legs. Then bend the knees, plant the hands, your Vinyasa. Nice and active. Think about extending through the backs of the legs. And from your down dog, toes together, looking into the knees, and think about pulling the legs into the hip sockets like you did at the start as you jump forward, maybe with straight legs. Nice. Forward fold, top of the mat. Inhale, bring it all the way up, reach it tall. Exhale, hands through heart center. Feet can be hips distance or toes together. Utkatasana, chair pose. Bend the knees, sweep the hands down. See if you can touch that mat as you bend down. And then reach the arms up. Imagine you're squeezing a block between the hands and between the thighs. Draw the arms back into the shoulder socket. Broaden across the chest, lift the gaze. Maybe drift the bottom back. Shins back. One more inhale breath. Exhale, fold. Hands to shins, halfway lift on the inhale breath, nice flat back. And then your vinyasa as you plant the hands and take it through. Beautiful, that same action again from the start. So feel free to shorten your down dog a little bit by walking a tiny bit closer. And then we're going to inhale, reach the right leg high. I'm going to try and keep those hips square, really active through the leg. And then exhale, try and tap the toe to the wrist, so rise high on the toes of that grounded foot. And then inhale, reach it up and back. Beautiful. Then just step it through. We'll find warrior one. So dropping the back heel. Adjust the stance as you need to. Rising up tall. Squaring the hips, reaching through the fingertips. Nice, full breath here. Maybe you can sink a little deeper into that front knee. Try and press deep down through the blade edge of that back foot. Feel that action of squaring as you pull the front right leg back into the hip socket. One more inhale breath here. And then exhale, plant the hands, take it through your vinyasa. Same, slightly shortened sit up if you need it. And then inhale, left leg lifts nice and tall. Rise high on the toes. Try and keep the hips square if you can. And swing that foot as close as you can towards the wrist. Inhale, reach it up and back. And then step through warrior one. Planting that back heel, reaching the arms tall. Nice, feel that squaring action of the hips. Pull the left leg back into the hip socket. Round through the back foot. Big inhale. Easy exhale to fold and take it through your vinyasa. From your down dog, bring the toes together to touch. Again, hopping forward with straight legs if you can, or as far as you can with straight legs. Walk the rest of the way, forward fold, top of the mat. Big toes together to touch, we'll rise into our Utkatasana, so send the bottom down, reach the arms up, chair pose, squeezing that imaginary block. Draw the lower belly in, so you can kind of round a little bit more through the lower back by pulling the lower belly in. And then inhale, reach up and tall towards straight, and then exhale, hands through heart center. Beautiful. Once more through our sun B. If you'd like to add a
crow pose to the start, Bakasana. Feel free to create space. And we'll sink into our chair, bend the knees, maybe touch the floor once again, reach. And you might stay here, squeezing your imaginary block. Take another 2 breaths and take it through your vinyasa. Otherwise, plant the hands, lift the knees, find your Bakasana crow pose. Get those knees as high as you can on the outer upper arms. Lean forward, maybe one at a time, floating the feet or both together. Hold your Bakasana, lift up, dome through the upper back, and maybe hop, or maybe step back. Take it through your vinyasa with meet in downward facing dog. Beautiful. Inhale, reach that right leg high, keep the hips square. Nice active flex foot, try and tap the wrist as you swing that leg in, rising high on the left toes. This time, inhale up and back, open the hip, take it all the way open and over, scorpion dog, draw that heel in tight. And if you're feeling ready and open, take it all the way into wild thing. Nice, keeping that leg straight like side plank. Feel that blade edge of the foot pressing into the mat. Lift the hips, really press them up towards the ceiling. And then bring it back. 3-legged dog, square the hips. Step the foot through. Find your warrior one. Nice, rising up in your warrior one. Full breath. Reach nice and tall. One more big inhale. And then as you exhale, bring the hands to the hips, straighten this front leg. Shorten the stance, square the hips, big. Inhale, lengthen out of the lower back. And then exhale, coming forward. Hands might find the floor. They might come back behind you. You might take this prayer position behind you or any other variations you have with the hands. Keep drawing lower belly in, keep extending chest towards the toes. And check and make sure that front right quadricep, the front of the thigh, is really activating. It's like you're lifting the kneecap. At the same time, press down through the ball of the big toe. Feel that activation of the hips squaring, the left hip drawing slightly forward. Almost like you're trying to lift that front foot off the mat and at the same time press it down. One more breath here. And then take a micro bend to the front knee, plant the hands and sweep it through your vinyasa. Beautiful work, second side. Left leg lifts, reach it up and back. Rise high on the right toes, keep the hips square, try and swing that foot through, legs straight, tap the back of the wrist if you can. And then inhale, reach up and back, bend the knees, stack and open the hips. Scorpion dogs, you draw the heel in tight, and then wild thing as you're ready, taking it over. When you plant, feel that lift of the hips, pressing them up towards the ceiling. Nice, one more breath. Use the inhale to bring it back, square the hips. And the exhale to step it through, find your warrior one. Rise up nice and tall. Find that action of pressing down through that back leg, help you square everything at the front, reaching tall through the arms. And like the action is pressing down through ball of big toe, pressing down through heel, see if you can lift the back arch of the foot, reaching tall. Exhale, hands to hips, straighten the front leg, shorten the stance as you need to, turn the toes in even more if that helps you square the hips. Inhale, lengthen out of the lower back, start to come forward.
fingertips, maybe hands plant, maybe you reach them back. Wherever you're at, keep looking for length out of the lower back, easing the chest down towards the toes. Maybe you feel the belly come onto the thigh, keep activating that front thigh. One more breath here. And then a little bend to that front knee, plant the hands down, step back through your vinyasa. And find our way to the armwood facing dog. Nice work. Full deep inhale breath. Maybe sigh out the mouth. And then inhale, reach the right leg high. Draw the knee towards the nose. Round and dome through the upper back. Shoulders over wrists, maybe further forward. And then inhale, reach up and back. Two more of those, draw it in, knee to nose. Nice, inhale, reach up and back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, reach and extend. And then exhale, imagine that knee to nose action. And then plant that front foot down. Setting up for a low crescent. So lunging on your fingertips to start with. Feel the action of inner thighs drawing towards each other and then press out through the back heel until you feel that left glute or even the left hamstring fire up. From there, sweep the arms back, draw the belly up off the thigh. Try and stay low, reach the arms wide. And then forward. And then come up, crescent lunge. Nice full breath. Big full inhale here. Exhale, hands through heart center. Take that left elbow across the right knee, find a twist. Press knee to elbow, elbow to knee. Draw the belly off the thigh if you can. Turn the gaze a little bit more towards the side. And then bring the hands down, windmill open, warrior two as you plant the back heel, sink into your pose. Nice full breath. And then a little reach forward, palm flips, take it back into a reverse. Lengthen through the side body. And then we're going to windmill over. Plant the left hand down, rise back up onto the right toes and reach the right arm towards the ceiling. And then sweep that top arm back. We'll set up for warrior three. So sweep the hands forward, lift up, square the hips. Find that warrior three position with the fingertips down and then maybe float the hands back, then maybe to the side and then maybe forward. Keep them at a place where you can keep the hips square and keep active through the chest. So I really like to extend the fingertips back and pull the shoulders up and back. And then from here we'll come up to stand. So active through the legs, little bend to the knees, come all the way up. And then maybe you take hold of the top of the shin, drawing the knee in towards the chest. Now keep the right hand on the left shin. You might take a simple twist like this, or if there's more space, take hold of the blade edge of the foot. Come into that more challenging balance, the extension through the leg. Nice full breath here. And then release the leg, see if you can hold it for a moment. Sweep that leg back through, see if you can keep it straight. Plant the hands down and then your exit. which might be handstand hops, or might just be stepping back through. If you're taking hops, rise high on the toes, keep the legs active, heel to butt as you hop. Maybe you find some hover time. We meet back in downward dog. Beautiful work through that again on the left side. Inhale, reach the left leg high, knee to nose, draw it in, find that going and round through the upper back. Pull that knee in tight. Inhale, reach up and back. Draw it in, knee to nose on the exhale, press the mat away. Inhale, reach up and back. One more knee to nose, pull it in tight. Inhale, reach it up and back. And then exhale, step it through, find that knee to nose action, and then plant the foot down. Stay nice and low, set it up. Active inner thighs, come up onto the fingertips. Nice full breath. And then pull the belly off the thighs, the arms extend back, keep reaching through the crown of the head, and then the arms reach wide. And then they extend forward, and then they will reach you up into your present lunge, lengthening like you're pulling the torso out of the pelvis, reaching tall. Hands come together, draw them down through heart center. Take this right elbow across, find your twist. And then again, as you press knee to elbow, elbow to knee, pull the belly off the thigh. Pull in deep with the breath. And then windmill open to warrior two. Plant that back heel, sink into the pose, shoulders back. Maybe a little bit more depth. And that front knee, make sure it's tracking towards the second and middle toe. Nice and active, then reach forward, palm flips, reversing your warrior, extend through the top arm. That same bend in the front knee, sinking into the pose. One more breath here. And then windmilling down. Right hand's gonna plant, rise onto those back toes again. Left arm reaches open, so that low crescent twist. And then top arm sweeps back. Draw it forward as you gaze forward, plant the hands down, and set up for your warrior three. Supported to start with, squaring the hips, really pressing out through the back heel, rising up onto the fingertips, and maybe floating the hands. Take them back, maybe to the side. Maybe you extended them, take whatever you took on the other side, find that point where you can keep active, keep squaring the hips. Beautiful, and then we'll bring it up to stand, little bend through the knee, rise it up, take hold of the top of the shin, pulling that knee in towards the chest. And then keeping the left hand on that right knee, maybe you open back from here, maybe you reach for the foot and extended the leg forward. Challenging balance, noting that balance is different every day. One more breath, and if it's there, extend the leg. And if it's there, sweep it through, straight leg. Hands plant down. Your vinyasa maybe hops. Beautiful work, child's pose, or down dog for 3 breaths, whatever you prefer. Wherever you're at, nice deep breaths, controlling your exhale, settling your heart rate. mince meat back and downward facing dog. Inhale, reach the right leg high. Draw that knee towards the right elbow and hover. Press the mat away and then lower the knee down to the wrist. Pull the knee up to the armpit and reach the leg up and back. Gaze forward between the hands, step that foot through. Drop the back knee. Nice active inner thighs. You can release the back toes if you wish, whatever helps you stay more stable. And then inhale, rise up, low lunge. Nice full breath here. Big deep inhale. Then as you exhale, plant the hands down and pull back. Half splits. Now set yourself up so the hip stays over the knee, which might mean shuffling this front foot forward a little. Try and square the hips. Plant the hands down. And then really pull the toes back. Try and activate the front quadricep. Keep gazing forward if that's good. Keep sending the chest towards the toes and maybe come into the fold. Feel free to use those blocks as we hold for another 3 breaths. And then if you'd like to experiment with it, you don't have to go as far as the full splits. You might like to shuffle the knee back a little bit just to see what it feels like. I actually find it a little bit easier than the half splits to take the knee back. And to create a little bit more space and allow the fold, especially when you've got the blocks to keep you supported, you can start working towards where you're at. Beautiful, one more breath. And then the awkward shuffle. And shuffle that back foot back in. Plant the blocks to the side. Plant this front foot down. And let's just rinse it out. So come high on the back toes. Sweep the leg all the way up and back. Find scorpion dog and maybe all the way over into wild thing. Whatever feels good for a nice rinse out. And then bring the top arm back, re-square yourself. And you might like to play with a 3-legged vinyasa. So keep this top leg super active. And then we'll come forward, 3-legged plank. Keep coming forward, bend the elbows, lower, 3-legged chaturanga. Slowly lower that top foot down. Come through, cobra or up dog. Exhale back, down facing dog. Sweep the left leg up and back. Big inhale. As you exhale, left knee to left elbow. Crescent dome through the upper back. Lower the knee down to the wrist. Pull it up as high as you can to the armpit. And then reach it up and back. And then step that left foot through between the hands. Drop the back knee. Set yourself up. Maybe bring the blocks in now. And then inhale, rise up, low lunge. Nice full breath here in your low lunge. One more inhale here. And then exhale, plant the hands, pull yourself back. Setting up for the half splits to start with. So hips stacked over the knee. Using the blocks as you need to. Find that activation like you're pulling this left leg back into the socket. And chest drawing towards the toes. If you feel the belly coming towards the thigh, And keep working forward a little into the fold. And then as you're ready, you start to shuffle this back knee back, working towards your version of Hanumanasana or the full splits. And you can keep the back toes tucked for a little bit of support, but if it feels good, particularly if you can bring the pressure off the kneecap, you might like to release the back toes. Again, looking for that full deep breath, keep this front leg active. So still get that feeling like you're pulling it back into the hip socket. Still flexing the toes back towards you. So you can see if that quadricep's still active. Another full deep breath here. And then that shuffle back. Bring the knee in, plant the front foot down, slide the blocks out the way, plant the hands, rise onto the back toes, and that sweep through, up and open, scorpion dog. Maybe just all the way, wild thing, lifting the hips. And then bring it back, set yourself up, three-legged vinyasa, and reach and extend through that left leg. Ripple forward. Active leg, three-legged plank. Keep that leg active, three-legged chaturanga, stay high. Leg sweeps through, up dog or cobra. Take it back, downward facing dog. Nice full inhale breath. And then however you choose to get there, maybe you drop to the knees and come into dolphin pose. Maybe just activate the arms, draw the elbows in and lower down. Walk the feet in a little closer. We'll hold here for 3 full breaths. If you have an inversion in your practice and you prefer to go there, classical headstand, forearm balance, anything you wish, feel free. My dolphin team, drop to the knees, take a break. And then we'll take another round with a little bit more movement. So, elbows underneath the shoulders, palms flat, tuck the toes and lift into your dolphin. And then we'll inhale, nose comes forward to the thumbs. Exhale, press the chest back as far as you can. See if you can get the head through the arms. And then inhale forward, exhale back. Keep moving with your breath. See if you can find 5. Keep pressing down through those elbows. Keep lifting the hips. And once you've done 5, child's pose, let it settle. If you're up in your inversion, meeting us in child's pose as you're ready. Close out the class with some back bend. So if you'd like to come up through a vinyasa to rinse it out, feel free. Otherwise, just make your way over onto your back. You set yourself up, bridge pose to start with. We'll take 3 rounds. Really settling that low back down into the mat to start with. Make sure the feet are set up, lining up with the hip sockets, toes turned in slightly. Plant the hands down, inhale the hips up, pressing down through the feet.
creating space to maybe slide the hands in underneath and interlace them. And then create a little bit more space by leaning onto one shoulder, tucking the others underneath. Shuffle side to side as you draw them in tight, lifting the hips high, pressing the chest towards the chin, and then keep that activation through the inner thighs. Like you're squeezing something between the legs. Another full breath up here. And then exhale, slowly lower. Take a moment pressing low back into the mat. And then maybe you're ready for Urdhva Dhanurasana, full wheel pose. Maybe you'd like another bandha, another bridge pose. So as you're ready, coming up, make sure those feet line up with the hip sockets once again, toes turned in just slightly. And then inhale, coming up, either bridge or wheel. Use the active inhale to rise. Nice, if you're coming into your wheel, see if you can rise high on the toes, really press down through index and thumb like you would in high plank. See if you can work the arms a little bit more towards straight. One more inhale, breath high. Really tuck the chin to the chest. See if you can land on the back of the shoulders at the same time with the back of the head. You're in your bridge, come on down. Everybody press the low back into the mat, activating the core. And then final back bend, your option. If you took a wheel, try and take another one. Coming up on the next active inhale as you're ready. And then focus on your breath when you're up there. Wherever you are, lifted 2, look for 5 rounds of breath. Bring the attention to the breath and the activation of the pose. And your 5th breath is complete. Make your way down. Nice, lower back presses in. And then both legs extend up towards the ceiling. And a little shake out through the legs, a little shake out through the arms if you'd like to lift them as well. Shake it all out. Release everything. And then find your happy baby. So in your happy baby, checking in, maybe you take extension into one leg at a time, maybe you take it into both. But notice if there's any difference in the hamstrings between the start of class and now. Is there more ease in arriving at your full extension? Is there more extension? Beautiful. If you'd like to stay there, working into that extended leg happy baby or Supta Upavishta Konasana, feel free. Otherwise, if you'd like to finish with a spinal twist to each side, also your option. And then finding your way, once you're nicely rinsed and balanced, into your Shavasana shape. Use the breath to allow things to sink and settle. It might mean those deep sigh exhales. It might be this feeling of picking up the breath and dropping it. Release yourself into the mat. Any of those last little wriggles and jiggles, maybe even through the face.
as you soften the face and soften the body into the mat. Relinquish the weight of your body and soften into your Shavasana. Very gently bring your awareness back to your breath. Any movement through the fingers and toes that helps you reawaken that physical body. Spinning out through arms, through legs, taking any kind of stretch that feels good. And then maybe knees into the chest, or just ease your way over onto whatever side you prefer. And then make your way up to a comfortable seat. We'll close the class together. Bring the hands into heart center. Find a nice long spine and gently bow the head towards the hands. Take a nice full inhale, fill it all up. Deep sigh, exhale, let it all go. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, sharing your time, your energy, sharing your practice with me. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Namaste. Thank you, team. If you have any questions, I will be at this.